So what is doing deliveries like? For those listeners who don't know, deliveries can actually be very difficult. You're getting into an unfamiliar vessel. You've really got to know the systems extensively and be able to translate that knowledge very rapidly into a completely new scenario. So what is that like for those listening?
So I would describe it as hours of boredom offset by moments of terror. So you get onto a new boat, you've never seen it before, you've got to find battery switches, you've got to find the control panel, you've got to, be able to set up the systems, and some boats are pretty standard, and some boats, the newer boats today, azimuths, galleons, there aren't switches. It's all done electronically through touch screens. So getting on the boat, spending the first, 30 minutes to an hour just trying to get oriented on your own to those vessels and making sure everything works, obviously, making sure people didn't leave, seacocks off or didn't forget to put oil in the engine and all those basic things. And then taking off from there is really about pre-planning. I carry an iPad, I use Navionics, and whenever I get called for a job, because probably 90%, and it's getting less really, it's probably less than 90% now, but in the beginning it was almost 100%, I had never been to the places that people wanted me to take their boats. And so I would use Navionics in advance to really study the course. Any questions I had, I would reach out to my mentors, for a little bit of their experience and knowledge. Look up the boat, its fuel burn, bridge height, all kinds of things, in terms of specs for a boat. But all that work gets done up front, and then sometimes the job gets canceled, and you're like, okay, I just spent 3 hours doing a lot of work, but that's okay. It's all part of that, getting ready to go. So a lot of prep work. Additionally, transportation has to be managed, and the work I do all of this for myself. I don't ask a customer to do this unless they want to. But do I take a train or rent a car or take an Uber or drive myself or hire somebody to drive me to get to a marina? Getting home, same thing. Sometimes it's a plane, sometimes it's a car rental. So the transportation piece, also understanding how far you can go every day. So depending on fuel burn, you've got to kind of plot out, where am I going to stop for the night? And one of the things I don't like to do, unless I have to and get caught in it, is run at night. There's enough things that can go wrong in the daytime. And so running at night is not something I do voluntarily.
Right.
There's just too many options for damaging a customer's boat, and that's the last thing you want to do. So yeah, it's kind of that, a lot of pre-planning, getting on the boat, getting yourself oriented, having people around you that you can call on the way if something is funky, or it doesn't look like what you've planned, and then just getting the job done safely and hopefully with no issues.